Hello, Julie here, and thank you for joining me here today. Today I'm going to be creating some wax seals and showing you a couple of different ways that I use them. I'm doing this video for Beebeecraft and it's part of their YouTube promotion program, and all of the details will be in the description box below. So the wax seal that I'm going to use I got from Beebeecraft, and it's a lovely brass one with a wooden handle, and it's got a nice sort of wreath design on it with a flower in the middle. So at the moment I've got my little tea warmer heated up, lit, and I've got my spoon sitting on top, and I'm just putting 5 little beads of wax in there. I'm starting off with silver, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to marble some, I'm going to do some all in one colour. So I'm just going to do an assortment of seals. Now I'm going to start by using the silver, as I said, and in that silver seal I'm going to add some of these dried rose petals. Now these are dried rose petals that I dried myself from my own roses, and they've got a beautiful smell. But yeah, I'm going to just add these to the seals. I'm going to make 2 seals with the rose petal pieces in them. The slowest or most time consuming part of doing wax seals is waiting for the wax to melt, because you have to basically use the wax and then you have to let it heat up. And in point of actual fact, I think I should get a slightly bigger spoon, because yeah, I think I need to heat it up a bit more, or heat up a few more than 5 little beads, because that only just makes big enough to fill your whole seal. But anyway, it works, and that's what I've got, and that's what I'm going to use for this. I've got this tool that's got a fine pointy end on one end of the tool, and I find that very useful for stirring the wax, especially when I'm trying to get a marbled effect. So to create my seals, I'm using my silicone mat, because that way nothing's going to stick anywhere. The wax won't stay stuck to the silicone mat. It comes off very easily. So all I'm going to do is pour some of my melted wax over the top of those dried rose petals. I'm going to try and cover as much of the rose petals as I can, still trying to sort of contain it within a rough circle, and then I'm going to pop my seal on top. You have to leave your seal on there for I don't know, maybe about a minute, yeah. And while I'm waiting for that to set, I'm just going to add some more wax beads to my heater, or to my flame. I do try to clean up after each time I pour my wax, just to make sure that the outside of my spoon is clean and the top of my little burning pot is clean. Now I think my seal has been on there long enough, so to take it off, you just pull it off. It doesn't stick or anything like that. It comes off quite nicely. It doesn't pull the wax out of shape if you leave it there long enough. And here you can see that I've actually got a wax seal with those flower petals attached to it. I'm going to create one more in exactly the same fashion. When you add your wax seal tool to the top of your wet wax or your hot wax, you don't have to push hard. I find that just by placing it on there and letting the weight of the seal do the job, that is enough. Now this time I'm going to add some burgundy coloured wax seeds to my silver that's already in my little spoon, and I'm going to melt those together and then use my stirring tool to just sort of marble them. I don't want to mix them completely together. I want a mixed, or like a streaky effect. I'm going to add this seal to the top of a paper clip. Now I saw this on a YouTube clip, and I thought it was a great idea, and I think that what I would do next time is I would put a piece of gauze or cheesecloth or maybe lace, something like that, down first, and then put the wax seal on top of that. And then you'll see in a minute I'm going to turn this over and put another seal on the other side, because when you're using a paper clip you can see both sides of it. And so then I would have my cheesecloth or gauze cushioned between the two seals. So it's just a relay match now. Every time I pour out my wax, I put new beads in so that they can be melting while my wax is setting, and I'll just continue to do that all the way through this video. So here you can see I'm taking that seal off now, and I'm going to lift that off of my silicone mat. I would recommend, I've seen a lot of people using all sorts of different things to put their wax seals on when they're hot, but I found these silicone mats to be perfect. I never have any problem whatsoever. So now I'm going to just turn it over and repeat the process on the other side. Now I did wonder actually whether by putting the hot wax onto the back of this I might ruin the seal on the front, but it didn't, and so I ended up with a nice seal on both sides. So this is what it looked like with the first side done. Time now to do the second side. I'm doing exactly the same procedure. Pour the wet wax on and then put my stamp on top. And when I remove that, you can see I have a pretty seal pattern on both sides of my paper clip. Now for my next application, I'm going to add my wax seals to some clusters. So I've just made a couple of clusters. Two of them have vellum in them and one of them has lace in it. And I was just wondering how that would react with the heat of the wax. So I decided to give that a try. So I'm going to start with the vellum one, and I heated up my wax buttons and poured them on and used my seal, and it did not affect the vellum at all, and I think it looks really nice. Now while I was waiting for that wax to melt, I decided to try some of this Inca Gold. I've just put some on my finger. Now this was really dry, but I just dipped my finger into a water tub that I've got sitting next to me and then rubbed that over the wax, and the Inca Gold just takes up the high pattern, so you get a gold design over the top of your wax melt. So that's that looks really nice, and I did that on both sides of my paper clip. There are heaps and heaps of metallic waxes out there that you could use to do this with. Now I'm going to pour the wax onto my little cluster that has the lace in it, and the lace didn't burn or shrivel or anything like that. So I could say pretty safely that you can include lace, cheesecloth, vellum. I'm not sure about acetate, I don't know how that would go, but yeah, the lace and the vellum that I've tried were all successful. So I have taken waiting time out of this video, so I do have to just reiterate that you do have to leave them for about a minute or two to set before you take that stamp off. It's not as quick as it looks in the video here because I have taken that waiting time out. Another thing I like to do is just make some wax seals that are not attached to anything, like I did with those rose petal ones. These don't have to be perfect. As a matter of fact, sometimes I try to make them imperfect so they're not completely round. And I simply pour the wax onto my silicone mat and pop my seal on top and just let that set, and then that peels off nicely, and then I've got a seal that I can attach to something that I'm making later on. I don't have to if I want a wax seal, I don't have to stop and make one. I just simply attach the wax seal to my project using glue. I also put eyelets in my wax seals so that I can use them as a dangle, like I can hang it from a tag or something like that as well. The crocodile works perfectly with the wax seal. You don't have to push really hard with it. As a matter of fact, when I'm actually putting the eyelet in, I don't press all that hard at all. To make the hole, you just press normally. I do always push the little offcut out because I don't want that being stuck in there. And so just add your eyelet as you normally would, and then you've got a little dangle. You can put a jump ring through that and a chain on it, and you can attach it to whatever you like. Here I'm just making a couple more of those freestanding, or whatever you'd like to call them, just the wax seals on their own, not attached to anything. This second one, I've purposely tried to make it a lot smaller, so the actual seal, the wax is smaller than the size of the seal, if you understand what I mean. So I'm going to get more of a jagged, uneven edge. So while I was waiting for those two to set, I went and grabbed a bulb pin, and that's another way you can attach your wax seal to your tag or whatever it is that you want to attach it to. So now I'm making a couple more. I have to admit that this can be very addictive. Once you start and all these ideas pop into your head about different things that you can do, it becomes very hard to stop. But anyway, I'm just going to make a couple more, and these will once again be like just standalone wax seals. They won't be attached to anything. You can see the small amount of wax that I've used for that second seal. And you can see the size of the seal that creates. I'm going to use my crocodile once again to add an eyelet to this wax seal, and then I'm going to use some jump rings and gold chain to show you how I would then be able to attach it with a piece of chain to whatever I chose to attach it to. So once again, this is part of the Beebeecraft YouTube promotion, and I will put links to everything down in the description box, to the products, and this promotion is open to anybody that has a YouTube channel with at least 100 subscribers. So if you're interested in being part of it, the link for that will be down in the description box as well. A link to the products I've used, which is that wax seal, will be down there. So yeah, thank you for being here. I've really enjoyed playing with these wax seals. There's so many things you can do with wax seals. It's quite mind-boggling really, all the things that you can do with them. So yeah, thank you for being here with me today, and I hope you can join me when I post my next video. Okay, bye.